Hey guys, group 4 here. We are Amy, Phil, Allyson, and Jessica. We built this website here on Google Sites, which we thought was fairly easy to use, I thought. Our group in general, here's our About Us. The purpose of our website is to showcase several apps that support meaningful collaborative learning. We've listed pros and cons, as well as how each app enhances meaningful learning. Meaningful learning with the use of technology promotes the idea that we learn with the use of technology and not from it. Our website is designed to illustrate how technology can be used to promote meaningful learning through collaboration, encouraging students to be active participants, engaged in their own development and learning experience. According to Holland, one of the authors that we've been looking at during this class, learning is the ability to develop conceptual understanding. When we have a conceptual understanding, we have moved beyond a simple piece of information or abstract knowledge and can represent the information in a variety of ways. From a variety of angles, it is a deeper understanding that we have when the information is simply given to us. In other words, when we are actively engaged in our own learning, it becomes meaningful. So there's 5 types of learning, and on each of our pages, I'll go through all these and how the app actually supports these. So we've got active, constructive, intentional, authentic, and cooperative. Active learning is learning by doing or observing, so it's hands-on, performing a task repeatedly. We learn from it, performing tasks through trial and error. We develop skills that can decipher what works and what doesn't. Constructive learning occurs when we reflect on activities and can articulate the process, which brings even greater meaning to the task. Intentional learning happens when we are interested in something. When we want to learn something intentional, we are incredibly motivated to understand it and much better able to retain and repeat it. We learn by doing, understanding the process, and repeating. When it is something we are interested in learning and can use in a real-world context, even better. Authentic learning happens when we can relate an idea to a real-world situation or context. When this happens, it is much easier to contextually understand and retain information and skills. Cooperative learning occurs when we can share ideas and information with peers. When we collaborate, we can bring even more meaning to the learning through new perspectives and ideas we may have never considered otherwise. So in short, learning to memorize information and take a test is not the same thing as learning how to learn. And when we can encourage students to develop intellectual curiosity and constructivist learning skills, we promote meaningful learning, which is the goal of our website. We hope you find it useful and it inspires you to keep making meaning and finding innovative ways of viewing and disseminating the fascinating world of technology in which we live. So happy learning. I'm going to take you through each of these quickly. I'm not going to read every word for you, but just wanted to show you a few things. We've got some images on here that can kind of help you see that. First up is Weebly. This is one of the tools that Phil reviewed. It's a free tool that allows individuals to create their own websites. So whether you're looking to create a personal website for your family or for your interests, or if you're a teacher, look to build a virtual community for your students, it's a tremendous resource. You can see here Phil's got his blog up there with his kids' stuff on there. Some functions that he's found useful was to include the ability to link to a survey, which viewers can give a measured and calculated response to a specific question or scenario. So for example, his students in sports marketing are required to create several logos for a professional sports team that they're creating. And this function not only allows students to explain the historical or geographical meaning behind each logo and name, but it also allows him to easily gather data. So you can see some stuff here, gaming impressions with Phil. Weebly supports active learning as users have the ability to create their own web page. It's authentic because learning is constantly at the forefront, and it's cooperative because the kids can collaborate on there. Some of the pros is it's free with a valid email. There's a drag and drop interface, so there's no coding. shallow learning curve for novice technology users, which I'm definitely one of those. And I find Weebly pretty easy to use, so I know I use it in my personal finance class with my kiddos. A teacher, some cons would be that you can only have 40 student accounts, or you have to pay $10 to each additional student, which is $10 or $1 a kid, so that's not too bad. And internet connection is needed. So let's take a look here. Right. Kahoot. This was the second one that Phil looked at. It's an online web-based application. It allows users to create surveys, discussion questions, or quizzes with a twist of fun. While any survey tool is collaborative in nature, Kahoot sets itself apart with its engaging quiz creation capabilities that will remind you of a night of pub trivia with your friends and family. You can see here, this is the teacher side of it when you're building the Kahoots. So you can create a new one and play different games there. Players get to respond quickly, so they just have to have a device. I know my kids use Chromebooks. They've used tablets. They've used their phones. What's really cool about Kahoot too is that after the quiz is over, it does give you this Excel sheet which shows you which kids got what right and wrong. So if you have lots of kids miss this question here, you can go back and do some formative assessments and try and fix their understanding of those different things. Inside the classroom, students compete against one another individually, which we all know kids love to compete. So it's really cool that way. It also provides feedback so kids can rate this Kahoot and let you know how they felt about it. It's active because kids are active participants, both learning and teaching using Kahoot. It's constructive because learning occurs as students and teachers can immediately view and interpret results. Some of the pros, it's free, no email required. You can use it on most devices. Some of the cons, you do need an email, which depending on the age of your kids, they might not have an email yet. And you can only create or build on the Kahoot website. All right, our next one here is Google Drive, and that was Amy. Google Drive, it's an online document filing program that allows users to quickly and easily share and collaborate on files. Technology has afforded us a vast array of collaborative apps for learning, but very few web-based tools are as effective for online collaboration. I know personally I am a Google Drive freak. My school has been in Google School about 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. I was always annoyed getting emails back and forth with different Word documents, and you didn't know which was the newest one, and you always had to save what you were doing and send it again. And with Google Drive, you don't have to do that. You can share it with people, and you can collaborate it at the same time, which is really cool. Some of the pros is that you can have offline access. You get 15 gigabytes for free. You can share and collaborate. Some of the cons, reliance on internet connection. It's nice to have your documents stored on the cloud, but sometimes you want access to them even if you don't have a connection to the internet. Renewals and file size limits, unpredictable third-party apps, privacy. I haven't had too much trouble with any of that, but Google Drive is definitely where it's at. You can see here we've got some ways that it supports those active, constructive, intentional, authentic, cooperative. I would say the biggest one is that it's cooperative. I mean, you just get to, everybody at once gets to be on one app. So really cool. All right, same page. That was Amy as well. It's an award-winning collaboration software designed to keep your team, consultants, customers, partners, vendors working together. It improves your communication. Emailing is a necessary task when collaborating. However, multiple emails between team members can lead to misunderstandings and lack of communication. Same pages, personal chat service helps to make communication easier. Better project management, better file sharing, accessible and affordable. Some of the ways that it promotes active learning is that each team member must actively participate in learning while engaging. So some of the cons, free plan has group limitations, but that's the only one, so it's a pretty cool app too. All right, Google Classroom, this was one that I looked at. I use Google Classroom exclusively in my class. It's one of the many GAF apps. It's free, works in harmony with Google Drive. It works in harmony with a lot of different tools nowadays because a lot of schools are going to the Google Classroom, Google School type stuff. So paperless assignments, it's user friendly. Some of the cons is that I feel that they could have more organization with it. So let's see. Flow was Jessica's. And it's a project management software to create task projects. Supports active learning because each user has a tasks and role that they're actively engaged in. It's cooperative because you message back and forth. Some pros is that it's full view for everyone's progress, set due dates to track everybody, which is really cool. The only con is that it can be quite expensive. So as a teacher, I'm not sure I could work fitting in $300 into my budget each year. So Skype was the next app that Jessica did. It's an online tool where you can pretty much instant message back and forth, group video calls, things like that. Allows teachers to bring guest speakers in. So a lot of times the trouble is scheduling guest speakers. They're working, they can't get there. Well, with this, easy peasy. They can be right up on their screen. They can see your kids can see them. So you're actively learning. Those kids are actively engaged in talking with someone. It's authentic because the video chats, you are conducting real life conversations, which is really cool. So pros, Skype to Skype calls are free. Group or individual chatting. Cons, if you want to collaborate with more than 10 people, it's $5 a month, which that's not too bad. All right, today's Meet is one that I did as well. It's an online tool that allows you to pose questions or start conversations with your class. The tagline for the site is give everyone a voice. It's free to join, or you can use your Google account to get started. It's super easy to use. Basically what you do is you go in, you open a new room, you give your students the link, they go in and you're able to just kind of type back and forth. My way of using this in class is to, when we're watching movies, pose questions about what they're watching. So that way I can see that they're actively engaged in watching the video. So, sometimes kids can get a little off task when we're watching videos in class, which I try not to do too much. So simple, easy to use, does need to be heavily monitored by the teacher. So kids can get carried away sometimes. There isn't a limit of amount of characters, so it's similar to Twitter. I believe it's 130 characters. And teacher generally will be the initiator of questions. All right, team contract. So this was just our vision statement. Learn more with For. We hope you did. Here's some of our references that we use to understand the meaningful learning. And I hope that you guys really thought that we had some pretty neat resources and some tools. Definitely feel free to check out our Google site here. We'll go ahead and we'll post that with everybody so that they can look at things a little bit further. Hope you all have a great night, and we look forward to looking at everybody else's. Thanks.